All right, so Kimbles here now, and we're going to get in some news as promised. So what do you got, Kimbles?
All right, so this is crazy. A woman went nuts and she started stabbing her husband when she found pictures on his phone of him having sex with someone. The kicker is the person that he was having sex with
Was her.
I
knew it.
From like 15 years ago, back when she was hot.
Wow. She should have stabbed herself when she reached for that double cheeseburger.
I mean, how different could he have looked, right?
I look, I don't want to offend you because you are a woman, but women are going nuts. And I have this theory, and it's been proven time and time again. Guys get older and they mellow out. Mm-hmm. Guys are nuts when they're 26. When they're 46, they mellow out.
Yeah.
Every douche. Look, go to your high school reunion. The biggest douchebags in your high school, if you go to your 30-year reunion and they're now all 48 years old, you'll go, God, I hated that guy in high school. He's so sweet now. He's got a little bald spot.
Yeah.
He's got a little gut on him. He's talking about one of his kids with autism. And you guys are having the greatest time ever. Women get nasty and angry and crazy as they get older. And I don't know biologically how we're supposed to reconcile this. I see more women fighting now. I see more women screaming. I see more women stabbing.
Well, you've got the hormone imbalance, obviously, that comes in later, but I think it's more to do with finding the right person, right? So I like to think, like, I'm married now, and my husband brings out this kind of super calm version of me. But boyfriends I had before him, back when I was 25, I used to have long blonde hair down to my waist. We went out drinking one night and I wasn't getting the attention I wanted from this guy. So I went bunny boiler into the kitchen. We got home with scissors, cut my hair, chin length.
Wow.
Like nutty. And I'm not that person anymore. I haven't been for 15 years. So I do think it's something to do with like your husband knows like the wrong men know how to twist that button, you know, and just make you psycho. I think there's something to, I'm just saying it takes two to tango, Adam.
I think you're doing a lot of externalizing here. Women are going nuts and they're getting violent. And here's a theory that I have, and I vetted it with Dr. Drew. There used to be a lot of talk historically in this country and many others as well, where we'd go, that's not very ladylike. A lady would never, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of rules for being a lady. And then we decided at some point in the 60s, there should be no rules. And we should do what we want as ladies. But I wonder if all those adages from the past, like all those, that's not ladylike, or a young lady would never raise her voice or whatever, I wonder if they knew something back then and they were trying to control it.
Yeah.
And then we went, no, we're going to let it go. I'm saying this. Men are told that they need to control their impulses and their instincts. And our instinct is to fight and to rape and to do all kinds of horrible things as a male. And we're told, take it down. Like, there are the things you want to do, maybe the things you're hardwired to do. No, you can't do that. I think we need to start implementing some of those rules with women too, which is this is what you're thinking you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We tell women, go out and do whatever you want. We'll celebrate you. Guys, tamp it down. I think we need to tell everyone to tamp it down now.
I also feel like there might be a tendency of, there's something now I'm seeing with more domestic abuse situations happening with women on men.
Yes.
And I feel as if the power shift there has happened a little bit, and we almost have this slight invincibility feeling right now.
Yes. We've been telling guys
which is dangerous
to
as well.
check
Equality is
themselves for a long time now, and we've been sort of empowering women while we're sort of telling guys to dial it down. And this is a logical offshoot.
Now we're coming in bitch slapping everyone.
That's right. I see more women, at least videos, whether it's airplanes or out front of restaurants or bars.
Yeah.
I now see more women physically fighting
Right.
each other than
I mean, we're basing
did
this on
with men.
BuzzFeed, but yes.
I would never see women fight when
No,
I was a
I
kid.
know.
It was only men. It was a crazy novelty. All right, sorry. What else you got?
Okay. Okay, so UCSB students, obviously University of Santa Barbara, it's a very expensive college. They were in for a treat when the university brought in a special academic speaker, none other than legendary porn star Angela White. I don't know if you're familiar.
Man, I am feeling old about now because legendary porn star means she's from the 90s or the 2002 or something.
But she was there talking about her life career, and she's only 37, which I guess is a pretty
you can't be
impressive
a legend
career.
in the porn industry. You have to see your 40th birthday.
Wow. She was there to lecture as part of their groundbreaking film studies course. More Hyman breaking, I think. But
Yes. This is part of the problem I'm talking about. Like, usually porn stars are victims of molestation that are acting out in some sort of sanctioned thing, and now we must celebrate them as artists.
right.
Yes.
Yes. She's dubbed the Meryl Streep of porn, which is about as high a compliment as you can get, I think.
Unless you're Meryl Streep, in which case
Yes,
it's
yes.
a little bit of a backhand.
We need to do a remake, I guess. The Devil Wears a Strap On. What would be there?
I like that movie.
Could be some
by
good
the way.
ones there.
I mean, The Devil Wears Prada.
Julie, Julia, and Juliet. A threesome. I don't know. There'd be a lot of good ones.
I don't know that we need. I mean, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. It's part and parcel of what I was just saying, which is there's porn, fine. Hope your daughter doesn't get into it. But do we need to celebrate it? Is what I'm saying. And that's part of what we're doing here. Like, she doesn't need to be celebrated or speak to people to empower people. Call me old fashioned. Maybe it's fresh off my Donny Osmond conversation.
Right.
But I just feel like not everything needs to be celebrated.
Yeah.
It can be, we don't need to judge you. We just don't need to celebrate you.
Yes, I see that.
This is the thing. I feel the same way with like drag queens. You know what I mean? It's like, you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. But stop asking me to celebrate you with your cock and balls tucked between your legs and your huge wig on. I'm not celebrating you. I just don't care if you do what you want to do,
Right.
which makes you angry because you want to be celebrated, even though you never say you want to be celebrated. You say you want to be left alone to do whatever you want to do. And then when we leave you alone to do whatever you want to do, but we don't celebrate you, then you get angry.
Yeah.
That's the time.
But I think
we're
she
living
also
in.
is looking to be celebrated as a businesswoman and
All
a
right.
career woman, which is great, but also maybe the wrong career to have gone into if you wanted to be celebrated later down the road. I did like her quote though. It just made me laugh the way she worded it. This is my third time as a guest speaker as a film studies class that approaches pornography as worthy of a serious inquiry as a genre and as popular culture. I love that she didn't say it's worthy as a genre. It's just worthy as a serious inquiry as a genre. Like, it's kind of a genre.
Can I say any form of media and any form of art that involves capturing it on film where you intentionally turn the sound down is not a serious form of art. No one's ever watched, she's the Meryl Streep of porn, but no one watches Meryl Streep movies and
True
goes,
that.
turn the sound down. I don't want my roommate to know
Yeah.
what I'm doing in
I'd say
here.
the same about Instagram Reels. I hate watching them with the sound up. I'll just scroll through.
Yeah.
So you're right. You turn the sound down, you look at
Yes,
whatever you're looking
it's
at.
not really an
Done.
art form.
Yes. Okay, is Sin City closing in on Tinseltown? Nevada is trying to diversify the gaming and tourism-reliant economy, which was obviously hit very hard by the pandemic. So a group of lawmakers have introduced a bill that would give massive tax credits aimed at bringing film production to southern Nevada. Plans would include a $1 billion Sony expansion. So is Vegas the new Hollywood?
Well, we should go ask Mark Wahlberg because I think he's got it figured out. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that if you work in LA as an actor, as a production, Hollywood, then they've driven out many businesses and they have to go to Atlanta or they have to go. I mean, I drove Bryan Cranston to the airport so that he could go to New Mexico to shoot Breaking Bad. most of the actors hate it. I would hate it too. I would hate to say you got to leave your house and they got you an Airbnb outside of Georgia, and you just live there for 5 months alone.
Right.
It would be uncomfortable. Or New Mexico, and and what happens is the cities end up getting some arteries and veins and becoming more lively because of all of it. But you're going to New Mexico. I mean, I'm driving to Bryan Cranston, the Burbank Airport, take a Southwest flight to New Mexico. That's 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just going to New Mexico. There's nothing there, He doesn't want to go there. He would like to stay in his home in L.A. He has a comfortable home in the San Fernando Valley with his wife and his family and everything.
Kids,
But you got to go to New Mexico. You got to go to Prague. You got to go to Georgia. Well, people don't want to do that, but L.A. is so greedy and California is so greedy that they tax everybody and then they overregulate, and then the people in Hollywood go somewhere else. They force them out.
Yeah.
Just like now they're kind of forcing out just citizens, people that make a good living, people that have a business, whomever, Scott Baio. They're forcing them all out. But fine. But if you can go to Nevada and you can catch a Jet Suite X flight back and forth, or you can sleep in the back of a town car or a Denali for the 4-hour drive, late at night or whatever it is. You can sleep in your own bed a little bit and do a series. Now, I'm not saying you're going back and forth, every day of the week, but I'm saying you're within striking distance of where your house is in Beverly Hills.
Right.
And you hop on that Jet Suite X flight at 6:30 at night. You're back in your house at 8 o'clock. It's pretty doable now, so it would make sense that they come here.
But all the power's in the talent's hands, right? I would love to see. It would be hilarious if you forced all the talent to move to Vegas and say, "Sorry, guys, this is where you have to live now with your families. You're stuck with 110-degree summers."
Well, also these guys,
power.
when you're making $10 million a year or $25 million a year or $50 million a year, and you're at the upper bracket of state tax in California, you're paying 13.4% just to live in California. So you take Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg's bringing in $50 million a year. He's got $7 million just to give to Gavin Newsom to fucking squander every year. I mean, that's a chunk.
Sure is.
For walking out and tripping over homeless people and being overregulated, not being able to do your business in LA. So there's some, again, these guys don't make $3 million a year. They make $30 million a year, and 10%, and this ain't 10%, it's 13 plus percent of that year in and year out. I mean, Mark Wahlberg has probably paid $100 million to the state of California. Forget about federal, just state.
Yeah.
He's probably put in easily $100 million, and he can't film a movie in his home state.
Insane, right?
So why the fuck wouldn't he move?
Yeah. Just would it be Nevada?
It would be, because
you got A+ for trying, Nevada. I mean,
they're going to. But here's the thing. They're just going to build up so much infrastructure, and so much air conditioning, and so much.
They're killing it right now. We were talking about F1 coming, the baseball,
Yes.
I mean,
they're smart.
Killing it. They know what they're doing. You also get I feel like you always hear this every year. There's a new state that wants to bring Hollywood. Obviously during COVID they were trying to move. They were saying comedy's finished in New York. Austin's the new town of New York, and it's back and killing it in New York again now. So I always feel like you hear these stories, and Hollywood's meant to be in LA. It always will. Will it get shared around a bit? Maybe.
No, a lot. But then LA has course corrected a little bit because they've seen too many. I think they call it flight. They call it production flight or something. There's way too many. Look, all you have to do is talk to people. Like, if I say to Joel McHale, hey, can you come and do my show at the Improv on Wednesday night? He'll go, I'm in Atlanta for
Yes.
7 weeks.
Yeah.
That means he's shooting a show in Atlanta.
Right.
He's shooting a Hollywood TV show.
Yeah.
Atlanta's not close.
Notice he says, I'm in Atlanta for 7 weeks with that tone of voice.
Nobody from LA wants to go to Atlanta, but we have been forced to go to Atlanta because they over-regulate in LA.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see. So next, there's a YouTuber, a big one. He's now pleading guilty to a federal charge after he intentionally crashed his plane just for views on the tube. He then disposed of the wreckage to try and hinder investigation. Obviously, he didn't get away with it. Apparently, it was all just to promote a wallet.
Did he crash it in a body of water?
I think it was up in the mountains in Santa Barbara.
That seems like a weird place
So
to
he's a
crash
skydiver.
Oh, he jumped out of it.
So he jumped out of it.
Well, now
and he had a bunch of cameras attached to it.
All right. He intentionally crashed his plane with him not in it.
Yes. Yeah, well, otherwise
He ghost rode his plane.
Yes, there you go. With a bunch of cameras on it just to sell a wallet.
And because he was sponsored by some wallet company?
By some wallet company. But I assume
so it must have been like just a cheap sort of Cessna single wing, kind of junker or whatever.
I've got the video, but I don't know if we can pull it up.
And he just jumped out of the plane, but then he's going to get into trouble because the plane could have hit a nursery or a school or something.
Yes.
Right. But he did it in a remote area.
Uh-huh.
But then he had to get rid of the plane.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he
Santa.
disposed of the wreckage, which hinders investigation.
He's in Santa Barbara. Shouldn't he have jumped out over the Pacific Ocean and let the plane hit the ocean and then sink to the bottom of the ocean?
You'd think, but how much cooler is a plane crash in the mountains than on the water?
Well,
if you've got enough cameras around, it looks pretty rad.
I don't know.
Like Tom Cruise
water
vibes.
crashes are pretty cool too, but yeah, all right. Maybe it's more dramatic into the mountains of Santa Barbara. So now he's being charged.
Yeah, so now he's being charged. But I guess the bigger question is, what do you think about people doing things that are illegal for views? This is the bigger issue that we're facing.
Well, I mean, there's somebody snorting a line of cocaine, which is illegal, but it's not going to hurt my kids if they're camping in the hills of Santa Barbara.
Right.
But if a plane lands on my kids who are camping in the hills of Santa Barbara, then that would affect me. So my thing is sort of, if you're not, if you're filming yourself doing drugs and you're alone in your apartment, then you're filming yourself doing something illegal, but it doesn't bother me.
And you're also stupid, so serves you right.
But if you're filming yourself doing, donuts in an intersection and then smacking some kid with the rear end of your car and killing them, then that might affect other people.
Yeah.
So to me, it's very much, are you impacting people?
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And at what point does it stop? I mean, you can just I dread to think the things that you think that people could be taking pictures of themselves doing in 10 years from now.
Well, I mean, you always get the selfie person who falls off the cliff.
Yeah. Yes. They're good, those ones, though.
I actually surprised that there's not more deaths from GoPro. Because when I was 14, if I had a GoPro, I would have hooked it up to the handlebars of my bike and jumped off a roof into a swimming pool or a patio or something and missed. Like, I would have done all kinds of crazy stuff if I knew it could be chronicled.
I bet there is. I bet there's more injuries and more deaths than we know. People just don't talk about it because they're so embarrassed that they jumped off a balcony into a pool and got friggin' brain damage or a broken neck that they can't. That's the one video that I'm not going to post that. That's mortifying.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we'd see it if they were. But yes, if I had the ability to film myself when I was in high school, I would still be in prison right now because everything would have been illegal and it would have been horrible.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, thank God you're not leaving that video paper trail of yourself.
I know. I still think about it. So my 7-year-old the other day walked in and he was like, Mummy, can I film a TikTok with you? Like I've never talked to him about TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I have no idea where he picked this up from, but the 7-year-olds are doing it. It's insane.
It's also going to be weird that everyone is just going to be chronicled from birth to the grave.
I think we're going to see a big reset. I think people are going to start hiding. We'll see.
I'm probably.
I like to think. I'm proud.
I think a lot of people are going to be buried with like a GoPro coffin lid mount. Just to keep an eye on them.
Yes. GoPro need a rebrand. Okay, so number 5, we've got drug-resistant ringworm has been detected in the US for the first time. Highly contagious. There's 2 cases, according to the Center of Disease Control, found in 2 patients in New York City. They didn't improve with treatments. I think first things first, we all need to mask up.
Oh, yeah, ringworm. Yeah, well, look, nature, I mean, it's invisible. A lot of nature's invisible, but it's the same as ivy or the same, like, as you see sometimes they'll tie a rope around a tree to try to pull it in one direction when it's like a sapling.
Right.
And then you come around 5 years later and the tree has grown over the rope. And now the rope is part of the tree. All nature wants to do is climb, like survive and move. You know what I mean? And it's kind of diabolical. Like even when COVID was coming around, people are like, well, now what COVID is doing is it's spreading out, but it's not as lethal because it doesn't want to kill its host. Because if it kills its host, it can't be spread. The idea that this is going on a molecular level.
Yeah.
Like nature's figured out, if I kill her, that's great, except for if I keep her alive, she'll go to a dinner party and spread me to her friends who don't really like her, by the way, or think she's funny.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's ringworm or herpes or whatever it is, right?
So drug companies come up with ways to kill it, and then the rat and the roach figures out a way to be immune to the poison, and it's a constant battle and a constant cycle.
Yes.
And I think...
How do you get ringworm?
My buddy Ray had ringworm on my bachelor party, and we shared the same bed. Or maybe he just said it so he could,
ringworm
take over the bed. No, I never got it.
So it's not highly...
I think it is high.
It is, okay.
Well, I don't know where it ranks. Like, head lice, crabs, herpes, venereal warts, ringworm. Like, where's that?
Right.
Where's that rank? It's contagious.
I just know it is rank. That's what I know.
It's in the rankings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it will fight off and eventually overcome whatever it is we've thrown at it. Because that's what nature does. And then what people do is we then go back into the lab and come up with a new thing that is effective on it. And then nature goes back to work. And then 12 years from now, it beats the new thing. And then we have to go back to the lab.
Yes. Pretty rank. Not looking forward to that one. Let's hope that we can.
I don't think ringworm is worms, though. It's just called ringworm.
I know. That's what's so disgusting about it. You're right. Like I envisage like drinking from the tequila bottle and the worm like going through your body, but it's just different to worms, right?
I don't think it's a worm.
No.
I just think it's a skin thing.
Yeah.
But it is contagious.
Yeah.
But I did share a bed with a dude who had it and didn't get it.
Yeah. That's our news stories, Adam.
Well, I will say that, and again, my buddy Ray, on my bachelor party, tell me what you think of this.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot about people by how they sleep.
Okay.
Now, when I share a bed with somebody, I sleep on the edge of the bed. I literally have like 1 foot hanging off of the bed.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I want to roll over and get into their territory. My buddy Ray would like sleep diagonally in the bed, but he wouldn't start off that way.
Yeah.
He would lay there in bed next to you, And as the night wore on, he would spread out and take up way more and more of your territory.
Was his head moving towards you or his feet
His
moving
whole,
towards
it
you?
was, you would find yourself in a corner in a fetal position. But what I'm saying is, and I'm asking you what your opinion is.
Yes.
Here. When you pass out, you're sort of, people always go, when you're drunk, that's kind of your true shit coming out.
Yes.
Now we can hear the unvarnished version of you,
Yeah.
what you're really thinking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I never heard you bring up the Jews before,
Right.
but then you got drunk.
Oh, hell yeah.
And now I know how you feel about
Yes.
the Jews,
Yeah.
right? I say when you fall asleep, we really know who you are.
Yes, okay.
And I've been with people that spread out.
Yes.
Like they start conquering your land,
Yeah.
taking over your territory. And then there's the ones that
So you're still
literally
fetal.
hang off the side of the bed because they're thoughtful people. You know what I
So
mean?
you're fetal even when you're passed out drunk.
No, when I'm passed out drunk, I am just on the side of the bed. Like I don't sleep in the middle of the bed.
Okay.
I'm just in a hotel room up here. It's a king size bed. I took up 18 inches of the edge of the bed. That's
Yes.
where I sleep. I'm comfortable that
Yeah.
way. But I'm just saying when you start taking over, I think that speaks
Yes.
to something.
When I'm passed out drunk, I just don't even make it to the bed. I'm not sure what that says about me.
Oh, well, I'm not saying
you'll find
passed
me
out.
on the floor
I'm
by
not
the
saying
side of the bed.
passed out drunk. I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
do you
passed out.
take territory when you're asleep?
No, absolutely not. We
Does
both.
your husband?
No.
Good. Then he's
the
got a
dog.
good man.
It's the dog that takes the damn
That's
territory.
a good point. I got a 110-pound lab. He
Yes.
starts laying diagonally or sideways
Oh,
across the bed
we have
and
a
stretching.
Tiny dog. We have
Yes.
a tiny dog. He takes up 3/4 of the
selfish.
bed. And my
They're
husband and I have about
that's-
18 inches on each side,
that
as far
speaks
away as humanly possible.
To their mind.
And
All
we
right.
have to. I don't even like when my husband's looking at me in bed. I make him roll over the other way. I roll over looking the other way, so we're
Smart.
looking away from
You don't
each
want to
other.
breathe each other's air.
Yes, and then we've got the dog snoring in the middle.